Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to paint another ornament for Christmas, a holiday ornament, using a smooth foam ball. You'll need a hot glue gun or silicone to fill the hole that we're going to make with a little paintbrush. Just take the end of a paintbrush and where you see a little circle like that, you're just going to gently push. And not only is this going to make a hole to place your hook and bow in, but it will be useful as a handle to turn and twist the ornament around while painting it. Some glitter to sprinkle on after we apply the Mod Podge gloss. You're going to need a pair of scissors to trim your ribbon. I here have a 1-inch white organza ribbon that I'm going to be cutting to size and making a bow to attach to our hook. I've got a full length large size hook. Okay, so this ornament is going to be in black and white today, and I'm going to be just placing my brush handle inside so I can hold it while I'm painting it. And I'll be using Mars Black and Titanium White. I'm going to use another filbert brush to start the painting. And I thought I would just do a very simple landscape in black and white that's going to look really pretty with some glitter and the bow and that shiny varnish after. So the first thing you want to do is just get your brush a little bit wet. You can also use a flat brush for this step. I'm going to take a little bit of my black, and what I'm going to do is go right on the line. So right in the middle of the ball. You can go on top of it and below and above. So it'll be about an inch to start. And turn it around. I start to bring it up a little bit higher and a little bit lower as the paint starts to work out of my brush. I'm going to wash my brush out. And now I'm going to just turn it over with a clean brush, take some white, and I'm going to start where I left off with the black. So while I'm painting this, I'm picking up a little bit of that black and mixing it in to gradiate down from black to gray and then down to just white on the very bottom. Okay, I'll take a little bit of white and I'll really lightly go over where I left off with the lightest gray. Okay, we're going to do the same thing at the top. I'm going to take a little bit of water. More white, line it up halfway on the unpainted ornament and halfway on the gray. I'm gonna rinse my brush out now. Take a little bit more white and finish the top. Okay, now I'm gonna dry this off and we'll come in with our next step. Okay, so the ball is all dry now and I'm ready to come in with the next step. I'm gonna be adding a little instant forest and some mountains, and just gonna take a little bit more water and black. I'm gonna go from the black center, pull and flick. Adding a little bit of water to the paint is really gonna help make it flow easier out of your brush to create this instant forest. I'm gonna leave a little space here so that I can add a mountain. And the first step for the mountain is just getting a little bit of that black on there. And I'm just gonna pull off to the side. Just like that. A little bit extra black now. Just a little pull and sweep. Okay, the next step, I'm gonna take some more black and I'm gonna start pulling little lines across as I turn the ornament. Then I'm gonna go back over here where I started. Leave a little space, do that again, but this time I'm gonna move them towards the right, but then I'm gonna change the direction and start bringing them over this way. When I get down to the bottom, I'm just gonna create a little spiral so it looks pretty on the bottom too. And then right in here, I'll add a little bit more and connect it. So this is just a little bit of shadows and land. We could add a little fence too, or a cottage, whatever you like. Okay, I'll rinse the brush out. I've just taken a couple minutes to dry this off again. That way I can have a little bit more control and place the ball down steady while I'm painting the trees. And for the trees, I'm gonna be using another filbert brush. I've got a really small one here. I've got a few actually, I think I'm gonna be using this one here. This is a number 2. Just use any small filbert brush you have. If you don't have a filbert brush, you can paint your trees with a little round brush as well. It's gonna be a different technique. And I've got a few other tutorials demonstrating with a round brush. I just have a look through my winter and Christmas playlist and you'll find them there. But for today, I'm gonna be using my number 2 filbert brush. So what I wanna do is, we've got this instant forest, right? I wanna just add a few trees in between that stand out from the rest, more in the foreground. We can apply some heavy snow too, using our white. And we're gonna start off with black and just a little bit of water in my brush. Then I'm just gonna dab it off on the towel so I don't have any drips. And then pick up some black. I want the black to be on the tip of my brush. I'm gonna place my pinky right here. This will really help steady my hand. And I'm just gonna pull up a few lines for my tree trunks, different sizes, to make it the scene more interesting. Okay, so we'll do 3 on this side. We've got 3 tree trunks. I'm gonna start in the middle, this big guy. I'm gonna leave a little space from the top before I start adding my branches. And just by pushing and tapping, getting a little bit slightly bigger and fuller at the base of the tree. And then we'll come over here, do the same thing, leave a little line at the top. And then tap, tap, tap. Now these will show up better. They're getting lost in the black base coat, but those will show up. I'm just gonna pull out a little, tap in a little line there. Those will show up a lot better once we add our snow. And then we'll start on this one. Okay, so we've got 3 trees there. I'm gonna add a cabin in here along with this mountain. So I'm just going to switch over to the other side, and because I don't want to rest this wet painted side of the ornament on my towel, I'm going to just grip and hold it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll add 1 big tree and a few others. Now we do have room for a few more trees on this side. So I'll go ahead and add some more. And then a little bit of water on there to help loosen that paint out. It'll help get the shape back of the brush too. So I can just, because the bottom, this portion is dry, I can hold it on an angle. I just hope that you guys can see this. And I'm gonna go ahead, push and tap. Out of all of my different color schemes for my ornaments I've painted over the years, the black and white are always the most popular. Now you can make softer shades. I've got a tutorial for just more gray tones, and that looks really pretty too. Okay, so we've got some trees going all the way around, leaving a few spots for a cabin or 2. We've got another little area in here that we could add maybe a lamp post or another cabin, but this is a good start. And I'm also going to be adding a fence. So I'm just going to take my hand here and grasp the top and the bottom of the ball, and I'm going to add a few little lines in here for a fence. So we can do everything in black first and then add our white once we dry all of this black layer off. Then we'll just come in. So you want to make sure that they're smaller and smaller and smaller and just disappear, and then gradually get a little bit longer. And pull a few lines in there to connect those posts. Okay, and then we can have, so we've got the fence on that side. We can add another fence here. So again, little, those ones that are farther away will show up better when we add the snow to them. Okay, and smaller and smaller. And then we'll just connect them like we did with the rest. a little line with black. And then another one. Okay. I also want to go ahead and add our rooftop for our house. So just a little diagonal line here, diagonal here, little triangle, and then the rest is going to be hidden. Whoops! The rest will be hidden down here where it blends in with the black base and then a little chimney right here, until we add the light for our windows and the door. Okay, so a little house, mountain, fence, trees. And we could also paint a little lamppost. Maybe I'll have a lamppost right in here. I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to use my number 2 round, and I'll take some black, carefully grip the ball, and I'll start with a line for the top of the lantern, and a little dab on the top, make it curl up on either side, so a little triangle, and then I'm going to go down, down, and in. Another line there, and then push and pull. Pull down to the bottom and make a larger base. And then I'll add just a few little lines down the lamppost. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is dry this all off. Okay, I'll dry this all off, and then we can come in and add all of our white for the snow and the lights. Okay, so this is all dry now, and we can come in and add all of our white now. So I'm going to start with the lamp post, and I'm going to go down to my mini liner brush. No water, just straight paint. And I'll add a little light inside here. I'm going to add a line right down the base for a highlight on our lamppost as well, so it shows up. I'm going to add a little bit of snow on the top. And then I'll just add our lines again inside and underneath, just to clean everything up. Okay, and then I'm going to come over on the other side and switch over to a little flat brush here. This is a number 4 flat. Take some more white. And I'm going to add some snow to the roof line. I'm going to leave a little space for a shadow for our chimney. And then a little bit on the top of the chimney, and then push, wiggle, and squiggle out for the smoke coming out. Okay, then I'll add the windows and the door light with a smaller brush, but I'm going to use this with a little bit more white for the highlights on the other side of the mountain. So I'm just going to line it up, pull and sweep. I'm going to add a little bit extra white now right at the top. Very little pressure. So you're kind of left with those spaces for shadows and peaks on the mountain. Okay, I'm gonna go back over to my small filbert brush, load it up with some white paint, primarily on the tip of the brush, and we'll start adding some snow to our trees. So you're just gonna tap, tap, tap. Leaving a few spaces. I'm just gonna add a few more trees here in the background on either side. Turn it over. So you're just applying a little bit of this white over top of part of the black. You don't want to completely cover up the black, but if you do, we still have that dark base underneath those trees, so it should still show up and be visible. Okay, I'm going to turn. If you start to lose shape, just wiggle your brush a little bit like this and push into the paint. Now, these ornaments are so much fun to make. Once you paint a couple, you'll be hooked. And I know that for a fact because a lot of you patrons and subscribers of mine have been telling me that you're really enjoying them and you're painting them for your Christmas markets and friends and family, and also including your kids and painting nights. So I've been teaching these over the years, paint night classes, and people that have never painted before are able to do this. These are really easy techniques. You just need to have a little bit of a steady hand. I wouldn't recommend having a bunch of coffee, anything that's going to make you, if you're a jittery person from caffeine, I wouldn't recommend having any. But just, you know, gripping the ball like this and having the little, it just takes a little bit of practice too. You'll learn how much pressure to use, how steady of a hand that you need. But look how pretty this looks already. So I'm going to switch brushes now. Okay, so switching brushes, I'm going to go back to my little liner brush here and pick up a little bit of white. I'm going to add a line for the roof line on the other side. I'm going to add a little bit more white. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of black, okay, and make a soft gray. And I'm going to turn my ball like this. And I'm going to pull a few lines. And a few dabs for the notches in the logs if you're wanting to make it look like a little log cabin. So again, dab, 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 dab. Okay, and then a little bit of white. I'll add a window there, one here, two little windows for inside the door. And 1, 2, 3 for the other side. You can have a few steps going down if you want, and then quickly with a little bit of black, I'm going to go under the roof line, and I'm going to add a little line on either side for trim. A few little lines in between the windows, and then just reapply my shadow line for my chimney. I'm going to switch over to my number 2 round brush. Just get it a little bit wet again, twist and roll to get that shape back. And I'm going to start with this one here, this big one, because I have lots of paint on my brush. And I'm going to add some snow. On the inside, and then make it smaller and smaller and smaller. Then we'll take a little bit more and dab it. Dab and apply to the boards that connect those posts. So it's up to you how much snow you want to add on yours. I like a really snowy scene, so I'm a little bit more generous when applying the white. And we'll go around and continue with our little fence. It's just going to disappear over there. And we'll go over to this side now. I'm going to just add a little bit of water in my brush to loosen those bristles up so I can reshape. Okay, we'll start on this side. Less pressure, shorter and closer together as the fence posts get farther away, and then barely touching, and then start to apply just a little bit more pressure. It doesn't really matter what end you start on. I'm going to add a little bit of light down here. I'm going to dab a little bit more in our lamppost. And now I'm going to come in with my little mop brush and add a few softer looking snow-covered bushes. So I've got this mini mop brush. I'm going to apply paint to it dry. Do not get it wet prior, otherwise you'll lose that shape, that nice soft shape that it has. So I'm going to grip the ball again, and I'm going to start up here, little tap. Turn again, and I'll add a little bit in here. A little bit here at the base of the house, and a little bit down here on the bottom. Okay, so now we need to choose a spot to add our moon. I'm going to choose a darker spot where it's going to show up. And I think right in here would be kind of nice. As long as you've got a background darker than white, it'll show up anywhere, but it will show up and glow the brightest on a darker background. I'm going to add just with my little mini brush and white paint. I'll create a little circle, and then I'm going to go around the outside. Continuously going around and around with my brush to give it a glow and some rings around the moon. And then reapply a little bit of white in the center to make it nice and bright. Bring a little bit of height up. And a little bit extra white on my mountain and the smoke out of the chimney if I need to. So just go around and see if everything's bright enough for you. Sometimes I'll go back with my little brush like this and tap in a little bit of heavier looking snow. So then the first layer of snow will look like a mid-tone, a gray tone over the black, which is nice. And then you can have an extra bright layer like this. Okay, I'm gonna dry this all off and then we can come in and add our varnish, sealer, and our glitter. When you dry it off, if you're using a hair dryer, make sure you have it on a cool setting. If you use high heat against the smooth foam, they will melt. So be very safe and careful. Okay, now it's time to apply our Mod Podge. I'm gonna just give it a light shake. I'm going to use my larger filbert brush to apply, and then I'll be adding some glitter. So I'll just have a little pile here for my glitter. So it's ready to go. You want to apply it to a wet ornament. So I'm just going to start at the bottom here and apply it evenly, twisting, turning. I don't know how well the glitter will adhere to a spray varnish, so I can't really give instruction or advice on that because I haven't tried it. This is how I've been making them for years. It works well for me. I don't really like sprays personally. I don't like aerosols. I think you lose a lot of the product and it's not great for the environment or to breathe in. And it's just really messy too, because especially if you're working indoors with aerosol, you probably shouldn't. You should be in a well ventilated area. I think actually with all paints and supplies like this, you should be. And I am. I've got my windows wide open, but I find like it's just a little bit more easier. It's easier to control using the Mod Podge. Okay, I'm gonna quickly wash this brush out. I don't want to ruin that, so make sure you're rinsing your glue out. And then pick up some of the beautiful diamond iridescent glitter, spin the ornament around while you're applying. Don't forget the bottom of the ornament. If you want to sign your ornaments, I would recommend signing them before you add the glue and the glitter. You can sign it after you add the sealer glue. It's just the glitter will make it difficult because it makes it bumpy. And then I just give it a little tap to shake off any excess. Okay, so it looks a little bit milky right now because the Mod Podge is wet and it looks white still. I'm going to dry this off and then it will be clear, and we can start working on making the bow and applying that to the hook and inside our little hole on the top. Okay, so it is all dry now. Gonna take the brush out. So you can make it to the size that you want. I like a bigger bow for a bigger ball like this. Okay, so kind of eyeball it, line it up where you want it to be, and then I'll trim. Please be careful when using a hot glue gun. I'm going to be quite generous with the amount I'm adding in there. I'm going to pull the hook through, bring it up to the top, fold the bottom in, gently push into the ball and push down. Make sure it's straight. And the ornament is all finished. You can decide where you want your bow to face after or before. If it's stuck in the glue, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but the ball has a continuous beautiful scene all the way around. And hope you guys enjoyed this painting tutorial. I'll show you a couple of others that are brand new. So here it is, similar scene in cobalt blue, 2 little cabins. There's, however, no mountain in this scene, but you can easily paint this scene in any color. And then I have this brand new design free on my channel here with multicolored pastel. There's a pretty little old-fashioned looking stone bridge, some trees, a fence. I signed this one using my little Sharpie. I like using a waterproof Sharpie. You can get them in all different colors, including some beautiful metallic gold and silver and copper. And a cabin. Be sure to check out all my other designs in my other tutorials through my winter and Christmas playlist here on my channel. There are many other colors and tutorials available on how to paint these ornaments. Have a wonderful season. Merry Christmas to you all, and take care. Thanks for subscribing to my channel and following along. Bye everyone.